Thursday, April 30th. Okay. I'm sure I got that right. Thank you so much for all the wonderful comments and messages I got yesterday. That was so sweet. Oh. I'm very, very proud to have my daughter and my mother in my life. I am. They're amazing, amazing women. As they met that more last night. You know, once you get weepy in the morning, then, you know, your tears are already always close. But I have wonderful men in my life, too. My father's a wonderful man. He was a great dad and winemaker. And now he's taking really good care of my mother in their old age. And that's good. And then I have Dennis, who's amazing. And my son is a wonderful, wonderful man. Wonderful man. An amazing father. The only problem with my son is he moved to Florida. Other than that, I couldn't be happier with him. So proud. I'm a lucky person. I'm a very, very lucky person. The world is going crazy. And I'm really, really lucky. I hope you're feeling lucky too. I hope things are going well. I showed this on this one. The flowers aren't quite open yet. Once this little one opens, look, it's got lots. They're just, you know, tomorrow for the next day. Dennis will be cross-pollinating those, so he gets some limes. He's very interested in having limes because he's having so little luck with his apples. We can, when the limes start, you know, doing well or growing or whatever, we can bring them in the house because they're going to be in pots. They will not survive the winter here. We're having wacky thoughts. We're thinking about getting chickens. Well, that's the whole conversation about, you know, meat shortages and things like that. And, you know, it's like, well, you do what you can do for yourself, right? And our property next door has a chicken house. We would need to put a fence around it. Because he didn't use it for a chicken house. He had a red-tailed hawk. And it had a big cage, but not, it wouldn't do. I mean, we would want the chickens to be running around in the yard. Normally, I mean, Dennis has been thinking about getting chickens for years, but we do. In the past, we were doing a lot of traveling and couldn't have chickens. But we don't see too much traveling going on in the you know, next couple years, so we might get chickens. Might show our neighbors how to take care of it. Once we figure it out, because I don't know how to take care of chickens. Once we figure out how to take care of chickens, we'll show our neighbor how to take care of chickens and they can get the eggs. If we do travel. They're probably chicken sitters, just like there are dog sitters. I don't even know. It's just a thought. When my friend Simona has chickens, I'm like, Simona, I'm going to be calling you up, asking you about chickens. Anyway, just a thought. But we do have a chicken coop. We had an interesting thing happen, a surprising thing happened. Dennis had applied for Social Security. He's a couple years older than me. And we had gone back and forth about how we're going to do it. I started getting Social Security this month. Was the first time. Talking about feeling like an old lady. But That's a good way to feel. It's, you know, it's not just like, you know, do you want the seniors discount when you go to the checkout? So anyway, Dennis was applying, and he got a phone call from the lady at Social Security in Philadelphia about his application. Well, of course, that happened when he was not here to take the phone call, so he called her back. She was calling him because he had several options about how he could apply for Social Security, and you know, and they had different results, financial results. These different, you know, options. He could backdate his application to November, and then he would get a lump sum of money for up to April, and then X amount of money a month. He could do what he actually applied to do, which was, you know, start in April. Or he could, you know, take spousal, because I was already on Social Security and he is older than me. He could take spousal for a while and then go on. Anyway, what was interesting was that, you know, I mean, there was nothing wrong with his application. What he was applying to do was perfectly legit. But it was actually the worst option financially of any of the options that he had, and he didn't know he had other options. And she just called to say, you know, there are other options. You could do this, or you could do that, or you could do this. We were just shocked. You know, and so we sat down and we, you know, she gave us all this information. We sat down and talked about it, and he picked a different option. And, you know, but she could have just processed his application. It was a perfectly reasonable thing to do. You know, this is what he asked for. Put it through. Give him a check. He'll never know. Yeah, he would never know that he was passing that money on the table, essentially. You know, unless he lives to be 105, and then, you know, if he lives to be 105, if he lives to be 105, then we've picked the correct option. We've picked the option with the most optimism. But anyway, I just thought that was so interesting that she called him out of the blue and said, hey, you know, you have other options besides what you've applied to do, which is perfectly legitimate, and you can do that if you want to. And this is the, you know, I was just, we were really very pleasantly surprised. It was really nice and unexpected. You know, you kind of just expect people to just, you know, process your application without thinking about it too much. And not thinking, oh, I wonder if they know. Let me call them. Anyway, we were like, wow, that was so great. Coffee in the morning. So I slept okay, not great. I woke up early. I was awake at 5:30, 5 o'clock. But I stayed in bed, and I probably slept for another half an hour at least, or more off and on, you know, kind of not great sleep, but a little bit of sleep. And got up before Dennis. So I'm moving my getting up time earlier. I'm moving my bedtime earlier. So I'm working on it. So that's good. And I'm feeling better. I did not make any final tables yesterday. But I worked on my boxy. And I had my virtual knit night, which I played poker during. And I said, is it okay if I play poker during knit night? They said, you asked us that last week. I'm like, whoa. I forgot. My memory. I used to have an amazing memory. I mean, I blame the Fen from the 90s. I've been on every diet, including Fen. I am wearing my Exploration Station by Stephen West. It is super windy outside, and it's gray. Dennis thought it was going to rain all day, but it isn't raining. But it is super, super windy, and it sounds cold. It is actually not. I stepped outside, and I was fine in this. But I'm wearing it's a my heavy tunic-y, simple V-neck raglan sweater. But it is a V-neck, so when I'm feeling chilly, I need something. I'm like, oh, I haven't ever worn this. Because I just wove the ends in like a week and a half ago. And I don't even know why I did that. Oh, I was weaving in the ends. I was weaving in the ends for whatever the last sweater, my Karina sweater that I added length to. I added length in the body and I added length in the sleeves. And I decided I'm just gonna weave the ends in right away because I have a tendency to not. I made this a year ago. And this was sitting there and I said, if I'm weaving in ends, let me weave these ends in too. So I have never worn, well, I might have worn it like to walk the dog or something, but with, fringe. But anyway, and I really love this sweater. And I love the colors that I chose for this. These colors were, inspired. I took inspiration from Barcelona for these colors, for this shawl, and I used the leftovers. I can never remember the name of that sweater. Rats. I used the leftovers for my Trove sweater. Right out. It came. It's like in there somewhere. My Trove sweater that I made as my Rhinebeck sweater. That was from Pom Pom magazine. The fall Pom Pom magazine. And I used these same colors. A couple of them were the leftovers, because it was a mosaic knitted sweater. And it had these 4 colors in it, too. But I was inspired by the frescoes and the Picassos in Barcelona. And came back. We got back from that trip. It was 4 years ago. I can feel the house wiggle a little bit from the wind. Isn't that funny? We were in Barcelona 4 years ago, and we got back right before Maryland Sheep and Wool. And I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool with these colors in my mind, looking for yarn. And this is Spirit Trail yarn, I think, but unfortunately she stopped. She went out of business last year. Stopped dyeing yarn. But I found this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. And I made my exploration station. So anyway, I picked sticks yesterday after I decided not to remake my video, and I went out and I picked 3 wheelbarrows worth of sticks. I think I have about 2 more wheelbarrows to go. Dennis said it was going to rain all day. Otherwise, I would have dressed in my work clothes. But it's really, really windy out there, so I don't know that I even want to be out there picking sticks in the wind. Let the trees drop their next batch of sticks, and I'll go back. It's like a never-ending thing. And I got to go pick sticks in the backyard a little bit, and then mow the backyard too. Both yards need to be mowed. And I cleaned up in here and vacuumed, and so it feels good inside. It feels good outside. I felt like I accomplished something. So usually when I work that hard, I'm off the next day, so I'm feeling a little like today's one of my days off. Anyway, so that's it. That's how I'm doing. I hope you guys are doing well. Kind of a little bit dreading hearing the news today. The new unemployment figures come out on Thursdays, and they've been so terrible every week. Talked to my dad the other day. He said that my brother's gotten laid off. Well, not surprising. He's a wine and spirits distributor to restaurants and bars. His clients are all closed. So I'm not surprised that he was laid off. But I keep meaning to call him, but by the time I think of it, I'm calling, but I can't call him now because he's probably out and about at the farm or whatever. Actually, I could call him now. 9 o'clock in the morning, because it's like maybe he's having his coffee. I'm sure he's awake. Maybe I'll do that. Try to call him tonight again, see how he's doing. I haven't really talked to him since I was there. He lives on the farm now with his daughter, Ella. My niece is the one I picked up at school and took back for Corona lockdown. Call and see how they're doing. And give my sister a call. So maybe I'll make some phone calls today. And I'm almost got my height, my sleeve height for my boxy. I should be able to finish up the front today. Go back to the back. And get a wiggle on there, as they say in Britain. Got to get a wiggle on. Anyway, I'm feeling good. I hope you are too. Thank you again. Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it. And please take good care of yourselves. I hope everyone's doing well. I know some of you have family who's gotten corona, and I'm so sending my most healing thoughts and hoping they get a very mild case of it. I watched Arnie and Carlos talking about his corona. Did I talk to you about that? Oh, it sounded terrible. He said he thought he was going to die. He's got an episode just talking about what they, because they were off for a while. That's because Carlos had coronavirus. Bad. So, anyway, please take good care of yourself and stay safe and stay sane.